Hi everyone. So today is 11th of March 2022. But it's not very cold, so I can just stand with my normal clothes. I'm not catching cold. So let us continue from where I left in my last episode. I talked about my marriage, how the marriage got materialized in the physical world, and how the astrologer told us in advance, like 2 3 months back, to my to be wife. Hi Donald, how are you? I'm trying to give you small stories so that it doesn't take you long to understand. So and you can always listen to it again. So before I go ahead with my story, I want to highlight about the nature of astrologers. When we go to astrologers, not all their clients are happy. Some clients would say that this astrologer didn't tell me the truth, or some clients would be very impressed and they say, oh yeah, this astrologer is master. So my understanding is both astrologers are same, but what matters is what we have to listen, what the nature wants us to listen actually comes from anybody. It can be astrologer, it can be a friend, it can be a brother. So what we are destined to cognize, the words may come from a friend, from anybody. So in my story, I'm talking about astrologers. Another good example I can quote is of Ravana. When the thing Swayamvar, the selection of the bride was organized by the king, father of Mata Sita. And as you know the story, Ravana got some Bhavishyavani, some forecast that his kingdom is in danger. There's a fire in the kingdom. So he left. So what we understand from there is the forecast never came true. But Ravana had already left. He could not take part in the Swayamvar. So the understanding goes that God wanted Ravana to get away from that scene at that moment and give him that experience, maybe a kind of hurtful experience. He, being a warrior, could not take part in that Swayamvar. He had to leave. So, although the forecast happened to be false, but the reality is Sita was not meant for Ravana, and he had to leave that kingdom to give way to another king, which was Lord Rama. So, likewise, I have experienced these things from my encounters with astrologers, though in my case, I would say 99% things have fallen through, and that's why I'm so impressed by the astrologers. Now, let's move on to the story. Um, so, I got married in the month of April 1981, and my wife joined me a few months later with me in Nigeria. So the first 2 3 years went so fine. We enjoyed our stay. We used to travel around. We traveled almost south to north of Nigeria. We met, interacted with people. We enjoyed our stay. They're very nice people. They're very, I would say, giving in nature, and we enjoyed. So eventually, my wife got conceived, and she wanted to have the delivery done in India because that's how the feeling goes. We all have love for the motherland. So we left the job and we came back to India for another reason, that I wanted to be settled in India as well, because when you're in an outside country, especially these kind of countries like Dubai, Saudi, Nigeria, Iran, you're only there on a contract. So when the contract is over, you're still insecure whether they'll take you back or you have to go back to your country. So keeping that in mind, I also thought let's go back and see some options if I could find some good place in India. So we came back, and few months we were like looking around for settlement, which I did find a good hospital to work with, and my beginning was very good. But during those initial days, my wife happened to mention to me that the astrologer that she went to meet, his predictions became so true, so we should go and meet him and at least thank him. So we took some gift and we went to see that astrologer, whose name is Mr. S.D. Sharma. He used to live in Sector 7, Chandigarh those days, and I am told few years back he moved to Sector 22, but he's still living, he's still alive, and my heartful namaskar to him for having provided me such a grand knowledge. So we went to him somewhere in 1984 to show my chart. He saw my chart and he gave me, I would say, at least 3 or 4 wonderful predictions. I want to share those predictions for those who do not believe in astrology and for those who believe in astrology, for both. Those who don't believe in astrology, it's in kind of opening to them, and those who believe in astrology, they'll enjoy it. So when I went to see the astrologer, he told me 3 or 4 things. The first one was like the year 1984. He told me my professional career has begun now. I said, what was it before? I qualified in 78 and all these 6 years I've been working. He said, no, that was a temporary phase. You were not kind of placed where you should be. So that was your learning and all. I said, okay. So he says from 1986, I would be more firm in my career would progress, and my progress starts from 1986. And then he says by 1992, I'll be in the peak of my career. And then he moved on. He didn't say anything else till he stopped at year 2001. And then he said, you'll have a serious health issue in 2001. So now, as you look at it, my career as a professional clinician actually started somewhere in 1983. And in 1984, I had kind of established a little bit. In 1986, I moved out from that hospital and rented my own independent, unit, and my practice increased from there. And I kept on, gaining more patients, more income, stuff like that till 1992. So by 1992, I was actually very well settled. My name had gone around in the society. People had started recognizing me as a good professional, and I would get other offers as well, like I joined kind of as a consultant clinician to an organization called HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools in Pinjore. They were making tractors over there. So their dentist left and they had a kind of vacuum, and their union leaders wanted somebody to be replaced immediately because a large population of HMT used to live over there only. They had a big, huge colony, which I hope is still there. So those seniors of HMT, they were actually my patients. So one of their CMO, Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Arora, and their MD, I've forgotten their name, but he was a Kashmiri. They came to me, to my clinic, to request me if I could give them like 2-3 hours, 2-3 days in a week. So because I had very good relationship with them, so I agreed. I said, okay, though I'm busy in my practice, but I can give you my afternoon. Like I close my clinic from 2 to 5. So what I can do is I'll squeeze myself, close my clinic by 1:30 and try to reach HMT by 2. I'll work there till 5 and I'll reach my clinic by 5:30. So 1 hour I can squeeze from my clinic. They were very happy, so I joined HMT. So what I'm trying to emphasize upon is I was really, really busy around 92, 91, 92, 93. I would be working the whole day. So things went on till in 2000 for other reasons that I'll explain in another video. We left India and we came to Canada. So 2000 March we came to Canada, and I was not working for many months. I was trying to find a suitable placement. And over there, the trend was like during your meals, they'll offer you juice. Nobody would drink water along with your meals like we do in India. So we drank a lot of sweet juice, sugary, and me and my wife, we became very hefty, fat. And the first winters came in October, and the houses were heated inside. So I felt a lot of thirst coming to me. I'll drink like 2 liters of water a day and I'll pee a lot of it, and my body fat started, dissolving, and probably I lost weight as well. So it happened that we were with a family physician to show my wife, and she being an Indian, and we got her contact through another friend. So she was very soft and very friendly with us. And she happened to ask me, says, you've come here to show your wife. Why don't you show yourself? Initially, I told her I'm fine. I have no issue. But then that thing reflected my mind that I get a lot of thirst these days. So I mentioned to her, I said, although I'm physically fine, I'm doing my activity, but I get a lot of thirst, and as a result I do a lot of pee. She caught me, she caught my finger, said, let me check your sugar, and she gave me a prick. Like in Canadian standards, my sugar was very high. I don't want to quote the figure, but it was really, really high. And she told me, oh, you have this much of sugar. I got really shaken. I never expected to have diabetes. So while I was with the doctor, I know my whole body was trembling inside. My feet, they had lost their, place. I didn't, show it to anybody, so I kept it to myself. We came home, I drove the car. It took me at least, 3-4 hours to regain my ground and feel that, oh, astrologer S.T. Sharma told me this thing back in 1983 or 84. So that means he told me that in 2001 I'll get a serious health issue, and this is the issue, my diabetes. So you imagine somebody is telling me about my health back in 84, and this thing has manifested in 2001. What do we get out of it? That the chart, the natal chart, the astrological chart, the chart which shows my houses, my planets, my zodiac signs, my transit, my Mahadasha, my small dasha, my still small dasha called, I think, Pritantra dasha, everything is already mathematically printed in my virtual chart. So things which were mentioned way back in 83, 84 actually manifested the same time, the same period that was mentioned. This is astrology, my friend. Astrology is not a fake science. It's a wonderful mathematical calculation. Only people who have deep interest in mathematics, they can only do astrology. People who don't have interest in mathematics cannot handle it. For example, I give you a small quote how the astrologers do. You tell them your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. With these three things, how can they, evaluate such a huge thing that they can tell you your financial aspect, your progeny, your marriage, your family, your property, your parents, your income, your shatruta, enmity, and your death? Because the time that you give them, they convert that local time into a sidereal time, and then further to a mean sidereal time. The place that we give you, like for example, my place of birth is Hoshiarpur, they calculate, or now they have printed stuff, they calculate latitude and longitude out of this. And then from there, they check at that particular day, the time, where was the placement of moon in the cosmic, in the zodiac, and then they put that placement of moon in that zodiac sign. And likewise, they can now, through with the help of yantri or their charts or their books, they can find the placement in the zodiac of rest of the planets. The zodiac is not a sign only, it is further divided. As I understand, we have further like 12 zodiac signs are there, 27 constellations are there. Each zodiac sign, the house, has 4 parts, what is called time scale. So it's a very deep science. They see your placement of the planets in the house, and then they see the constellation, then they see their, the time, which is called mean sidereal time. And combining all these things with a lot of knowledge in the mind, the transit versus your chart is compared, and then they're able to speak. So you have to have a wonderful knowledge about these things. I think it's a great science. Thank you.